we are picking up where we left off. In this episode, we talk about the characters, story beats, and some of the lore behind the starting few hours of Persona 5 Royal. This game deals with some insane adult themes, from a coach manipulating his team to actual physical abuse. So we discuss how this all plays into the overall nature of the narrative arc of this game, and how the story so far has played with and absolutely exceeded mine and our expectations. We also discuss how Chris can't get enough of the anime cutscenes. This game contains multitudes. Let's hop into it.
And taken away and then forced to transfer to another school
because you're like a rich motherfucker who can sue you.
Yeah, and it's just like, and that was like, that's such a crazy thing. I was like, oh snap, like, and so you transfer to this new school and everyone's looking at you like, oh snap, it's the guy with a criminal record, like, this dude is one bad mofo, like, we don't want to get in line with him, like, everyone
he might kill you.
Yeah, he might have a knife on you, who knows, and so you get this really bad rep right from the get-go for just trying to help someone, and it's kind of a really
and like eventually you realize that it was Mishima's fault.
Who?
Because he ends up like creating this website, right, about you whenever you come, or like some blog post or something. He's the same guy who eventually creates the Phantom Thieves website, but like he creates this website because Kamoshida wants him to.
Yeah, right. So like so he kind of leaks your like history, like your criminal past with to everyone in the school, and so you get kind of this bad rep that and no one wants to be around you, and everyone's trying to avoid you, and the only kid that it kind of will approach you is Ryuji. Is this how you pronounce his name? Ryuji?
I think so, yeah.
And so you guys kind of like this band of you create this like kind of friendship, this band of misfits kind of thing, because he's kind of an exile from the rest of the school as well, and nobody likes him, and
because he is the reason there's no track team.
Because he's the reason there's no track team. Him and Kamoshida got into it like about a year ago, because Kamoshida was the head coach, and so you had and I think Ryuji like. It got egged on by Kamoshida at one point, and then tried to punch him or something, and he got into a fight, and so the whole track team got dismantled and canceled, and everyone hates Ryuji now.
But this is like the backstory to it, and I just to compare this to Persona 4 for a second. Whenever you move to town in Persona 4, whenever you like move to Inaba, which is where that game takes place, your main character is just kind of moving there for the summer. He's going there to stay with his uncle and his uncle's daughter, and like that's the story behind it. There's no like setup of, oh man, like this guy punched an older dude.
Yeah,
like it's just like really sets the stage for kind of being an outcast the entire time in this game, compared to, in my opinion, Persona 4, where you're like friends with everyone. You're like the most popular kid in school in that game, versus this where you're like an outcast. And I think that's really cool. I think it's like a really cool way to like start the story.
Yeah. And so I kind of got off topic a bit, but Kamoshida is the first big bad. He's a high school teacher at the school you've been now transferred to, and you find out that he is like physically abusing and mentally abusing like his students and like the players on the volleyball teams, both male and female. And so you set out to change his heart by way of
two big furs britches,
by way of going into what they call the metaverse and going to his quote-unquote palace and
volleyball teacher, or like volleyball Olympian is what he is. He's like an Olympic champion that is also their PE instructor and this school's volleyball teacher. Shujin Academy is the name of the school. And he's like their volleyball teacher, and he's super corrupt. His only thing is that he views the school as his castle, and he wants the school to be like this volleyball powerhouse. He wants control over everybody and everything. And because of his fame, he has that.
Yeah.
And people see that, and all of a sudden, as the main character, you have this thing on your phone, and you like stumble into this thing, this castle that is essentially what Kamoshida views the school as. It's like his cognition of the school, and it's a castle. And you have to you end up teaming up with Ryuji, and then eventually An follows you, and you, Ryuji, and An go and like fuck him up, essentially, right? Like, yeah.
And so yeah, and then so that to me was so basically the intro I thought was this game dealing with like, you know, adult content in a way that I didn't think it was really going to. The second oh shit moment for me was whenever is it Shiho?
Yeah, Shiho.
Whenever
friend from
An's friend, Shiho, whenever she tries to commit suicide by jumping off the school or something because she hates, she becomes so like everything is like so overbearing because the Kamoshida stuff, the volleyball stuff, high school stuff, it's all like, you know,
Kamoshida pressures An into a relationship with him. Yeah. And when An says no, Kamoshida says he's going to take it out on Shiho by cutting her from the starting lineup of the volleyball team. And then he brings her into his office and verbally and physically abuses Shiho and causes her to want to commit suicide. And it's just this big story arc that, like, I think really sets the tone for this game of like, oh shit, you're not playing fucking Pokemon here. Like this, this isn't like, oh, we're going to defeat the Elite Four. It's like, holy shit, we're dealing with like real adult problems, but looking at them through the context and through the lens of like these kind of superheroes who can change someone's heart and like save people by doing that.
It's not just a cartoon, Mom.
It's a way of life.
It's a way of life.
Phantom Thieves, man.
Cue Persona 5 intro. You never see it come,
man. So, Chris, what do you, as like an outsider to this series, coming into this and like never having really played another Persona game, like, is this what you were expecting as far as like story beats that were going to like drive everything along? Was like teacher abuse, inappropriate relationships, money winning over right versus wrong with the main character and that whole situation. Kamoshida forcing himself on like, was this the context of the game that you were expecting, or were you expecting something a little lighter?
I think I was definitely expecting something a little lighter. I mean, it's I didn't really know what to expect. I vaguely remembered playing Persona 5 like a few years ago. Sure. Like, but again, I only played like the first couple hours. So much of that had really faded. But yeah, no, I mean, it's some really like heavy subject matter, just especially right from the get-go. And that totally took me by surprise. I was like, oh snap, like, whoa. But yeah, I don't know. I think from like so like the story is really good. And the only thing I think I wish from like a presentation standpoint is the game is certainly like a mix between like a manga and an anime. But it's a little almost like sometimes I just feel like I'm like clicking the X button just so frequently to just as I'm like reading through. It almost feels like I'm like reading a manga like 75%.
Like a visual novel, and I think that's part of the story. So that's definitely a part of like this game. This game is part visual novel, part life simulator, like a Sims type of game or like Animal Crossing, and part RPG, dungeon crawler. And I think that's something that I love about this, is that it like manages all of these like innate, very separate systems, and like there are strings that combine all of them in like big ways, but it's not just one thing. You have to like kind of learn and like internalize how you deal with all of these and how like they connect to other parts of it.
Yeah, but kind of wish they have like anime like cutscenes that play for like 30 to 45 seconds, and I'm always kind of like, no, I just wish they would last longer sometimes.
Yeah, but there's a lot of them.
There is, and maybe there will be more like as I continue into the game a little more. But yeah, it kind of reminds me of like Fire Emblem Three Houses, where I played through it and I was like, dang, like I really wish like another cutscene or two here and there would have really added more to me. But it's whatever. I mean, the game is still really cool. It's very well written in a sense. So you have obviously like we've talked about the subject matter and stuff, but also the characters are very well written, so that you enjoy spending time with them and you enjoy the dialogue between the characters, and it's never I never feel out of it in any way. Anytime I start to feel kind of removed from playing it, the game pulls me right back in. And yeah, like you said, there's a multitude and a variety of different things to be done whenever, and it's really cool in that sense. There's always something different going on. If I feel like anything,
Persona 5 Royal contains multitudes.
Yeah. And so yeah, I don't know. Forget what I was gonna say here, but
well, who's your favorite confidant? Is there someone in the and I know that you are a little farther in than I am, right? Like you're 20-ish hours in. I'm like 17. But who's your favorite character in the game so far?
Morgana's pretty great.
Really?
Yeah, is Morgana I don't know if this is a spoiler or not, but is Morgana a guy or a girl?
Guy.
Okay, that's what I figured.
Yeah, not a spoiler, because Morgana talks about how into Lady Ann he is very early on, and Ryuji refers to Morgana as a guy early.
Okay, I was gonna say yeah, because he is very into Lady Ann, but I mean he could still be a girl, and like that could be a thing. I don't know. But yeah, I really love Morgana. And I love
that's good, because the consensus within the Persona community is that Morgana sucks.
Really?
And I disagree with that completely. I think Morgana is a great character.
I get a kick out of Morgana, and anytime Morgana and Ryuji fight, I just think it's real comical. And also I kind of like Takumi. Is it the clinic doctor?
Yeah.
I just think it's really funny. There's a Persona 5 for beginners video on the channel on YouTube, Super Butter Buns, and as she's talking about the Takemi, or the clinic doctor, she plays the song shots, 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 and it's like a montage of you just like taking the different
all medicines. The clinical trials.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and that's one thing I love